cold start this morning, no intro, some technical difficulties on the back end, but we are here. It's been a crazy week, crazy morning already too, with this NFP data, unemployment claims coming out. Michael Nauss, how are we feeling about this week? I know we've had a little bit of a bromance ending from yesterday, and then the market's just going wild as well. How are we feeling about things?
Trying to stick the landing above that breakout. It looks like all-time highs are close. It doesn't seem to matter what two dudes yelling at each other does, and what matters at the end of the day is numbers, right? So we'll go over the jobs numbers too, which is, I think, the only thing that economists really care about right now. It's the easiest way to boil down. Is the economy good or is the economy bad, right? Is what Trump is doing breaking things? You know, you'll see that in the job numbers if it starts to happen, but we're not seeing that yet. So
yeah, I'm with you. Yesterday, obviously, we saw some craziness with Twitter kind of exploding as Elon and Trump did the tweet storm. Tesla tanked 14%, so that took a hit, which just drew the market down even more, knocking it down below a 1 trillion market cap. Meanwhile, Trump phoned XI to restart trade talks, but no one was listening. So pretty much all the markets closed down yesterday, except for Russell. Looks like it closed green, so that's holding on. Small caps have been better, Michael. Now,
yeah, which is unusual because small caps usually suck. So the fact that they're holding up well is something you got to think about, because small caps are basically one of your best interest rate indicators. Because if you look at what's in the small cap index, it's mostly biotechs and small banks, and both of those do really, really well with low interest rates and horrible with high interest rates. So the fact that they're outperforming the market is interesting to me, because it's almost like the market is pricing in that whatever's happening could actually lead to some more rate cuts, which would be good for them, good for the market.
Yeah, 100%. We did have that NFP data come out this morning. The actual print came out at 139,000. The forecast was 126,000. Previous was 147,000. We had the unemployment come out in line. I think jobless claims came out a little higher as well. So we're kind of getting more jobs and also getting more people unemployed. What do you think about that, Michael? Do you think that plays a role into the market at all right now, or it's just kind of extra crap?
I think it's important because we kind of know that if these tariffs go on, what's going to happen is it will be inflationary. And inflation means no rate cuts, but loss of jobs means yes rate cuts. So I think really that's what people are looking at, is that if this job number can go down a bit, then the Fed can actually cut rates. I think that's really all that people care about, right? It's like, which of these levers, because if you're the Fed, you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place right now. You're trying to battle inflation, which is definitely going to tick up unless all the tariffs go away, and then a weakening economy, and you only have one lever to pull to do both of those. So I think it's a very important number, just the whole jobs things going forward.
Yeah, I get you. What else we got? We had some earnings kick off this week as well. AVGO down on earnings, but barely beats. Here we had an EPS of $1.58. The estimate was $1.57. Revenue was $15 billion versus $14.96 billion. So yeah, they just scraped away to beat earnings there. Which I don't know about you, Michael, but when I'm seeing a stock absolutely ripping into new all-time highs, going right into earnings, something about that just doesn't sit right with me. I always am a little cautious on that, and I don't know. So I'm not surprised that, even though they barely beat, even though they did, we're not really getting a crazy move on the chart. So I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on AVGO or any of the other big earnings we had this week?
No, I think you nailed it right. Is if it's ripping into earnings, I get a little bit cautious. Just like if it's selling into earnings, I get a little bit cautious, just because it means that it's probably priced in. So you're probably not going to get a huge advantage one way or the other taking that trade. So I think it's just one of those that you just, when you see that happening, you kind of go, okay, I missed the boat. Let me wait till after earnings. But the gap down isn't huge. It's down to like where it was 2 days ago. So it could be a little buying opportunity here on something that's been super strong.
Yeah, apparently the Q3 guidance was also a near match to forecast, dampening enthusiasm. investors were definitely looking for more. We had Lululemon down 23% after hours. That's rough. I didn't even notice that. Slipped after cutting full year profit outlook. New EPS range $14.58 to $14.78 versus the old range, which was from $14.95 to $15.15. Barron says analysts expected at least $14.86. So not looking so good there.
Huge support zone though. Right, this 250 area is massive. If you zoom out on it, it's been a huge level going all the way back to 2020. So I might be interested to kind of dip my toe in a little bit to see if we get a bit of a flush off the open or something, just to, hey, this isn't the best looking chart out there. It's been stuck in this range forever, but it's just every time it gets to 250, it bounces off. And I like trades like this because, you buy it around, right, 260, 250 if you can get it. You put a stop at like 225, so you're risking $25 a share. If you're right, it could go back to 300-400, right? So it's like a 10-1 or 5-1 to 10-1 risk reward. It's like those kind of shots I just have to take, right? Even though there's a low chance of it working out, just mathematically you gotta take those shots.
Absolutely. Lulu, I mean, coming into some big spots. I don't hate Lulu. I used to actually own a decent amount in the long term. I did get rid of it, but I also got rid of everything else. So coming down to these areas where we've kind of accumulated around this 260, 250 area. I mean, if you like the stock, I don't think this is a horrible area to be trying something here. So we'll keep an eye on Lulu. Tesla, we mentioned it, but of course down 14.26% on the day yesterday. Plunged as Musk lashed out at Trump on X, igniting a feud after last week's White House key ceremony. Musk claimed Trump owed his victory to him and that the Epstein files linked Trump. What do you got any thoughts, Michael?
So this is where I'll do my I'm Canadian caveat. So I've got a dog in the fight. Is anyone surprised by any of this? I think we
kind of mentioned this. I feel like in the beginning that the two big dogs are going to clash at some point.
At some point they're going to fight, and you've got the whole Epstein thing. You got Trump hanging out with them all the time anyway. Like it's like no one looked at like that couple and been like, this is going to be a great smooth relationship that goes on forever.
It's good till it's not,
right? They each probably had things they wanted from it, and they probably got those things close enough. And then, right, as soon as he left, he didn't get whatever he wanted, and they started fighting. And it's like, the question to me is always, as a Canadian who doesn't care who you've got running your country, is what is it going to do to the market, and what is it going to do specifically to the kind of stocks invested? So, I see here it says that the spending bill cuts EV subsidies. So that's, I think, probably maybe what's got him a little bit in a tizzy. But it seems like a bit of an overreaction from price, to be honest. Like, did the fundamentals of Tesla really change 20% over the last 2 days? Or is this one of those that the people are just getting fed up with, I'm owning a stock that has so much drama attached to it, so I'm just leaving, in which case might be a good pickup. But at some point, if it hits Elon's bottom line enough, you got to imagine he shuts up.
All I know is we've seen this 1,000 times with Tesla. This is nothing new. Bad news comes out, we absolutely tank it, and the dip, I mean, seems to always get bought in the long-term side of things. So as an investor, I don't really look at this and freak out at all and say I want to run away. But I mean, it's short-term headways you got to sit through, right? And I mean, personally, I just have such a long-term look that I'm not caring about it. But I mean, it definitely affects things on the intraday. You look at yesterday down 14%. That's nothing light. So I mean, you got to be aware of it, but like you say, nothing's changed about the company. It's all FUD. It's all crap in the air right now. That's just generating liquidity in Tesla. So I think it's all opportunity to potentially get lower prices. But we could keep
and right? Are the people, because when Elon was working with Trump, he pissed off a bunch of people that were out there like burning his cars. So the question is, do those people come back to him, and then maybe this is a net benefit and he's now pissed off the other side? Or has he pissed off both sides and nobody wants to buy his stuff anymore? That would be the thing that would in the long run really affect it. If he's pissed off the left and the right and there's no one else there for him, eventually it's got to be one of those things where people just remove the car from the actual from the person itself, right? Can you buy a Tesla and just nobody cares that Elon owns the company? But this is, the obvious area I think to look for Teslas down here, right? Where we bounced before, this kind of 250 to 225. We're getting back down to that zone now. So for me, again, personally, if we flushed a little bit more today, just like in LULU, I think I'd be a little bit of a buyer with a stop loss down here. And it could be a great trade. I got a good trade out of it. Still own some, but I got a good trade out of it from down here, and that was great. So if we get back to that zone, I'm probably just dip my toes back in because, again, anytime I know where I'm wrong, I'm okay taking a trade.
Yeah, from a technical standpoint, I just see us back testing the kind of break a structure out of that range that we had. So as long as we're holding this general area around this, I guess 260 to 280 area, I mean, yeah, that's looks fine to me, right, on the bigger time frame. And this is a big area we popped out of because I was thinking we were going to get another leg lower when we were actually consolidating down here, and then the market told us different. So now that we're revisiting that area, I'm not going to expect us to just keep selling through it. I am going to expect that bounce to come through. So we'll see if it does. I know Tesla raises Tesla prices by $7,500. Ends key credits that once helped consumers buy Teslas. This is at the heart of Musk's fury here. Tesla reported its worst delivery quarter since 2022, 337,000 versus estimated 390,000. Let's see what else we got. ASTS and Rocket Lab popped on the news of Musk and Trump conflict. I imagine stocks like Uber, stocks that are like anti-Musk, probably ended up popping pretty good as well. So
I think Uber is the best chart on the street right now. Okay. You have this huge resistance zone right here, like 80, $82. We broke that. We came back to it. So again, we know right where we're wrong. So I like the look of this one. This is probably another one that I'm going to pick up a little bit today. And then just, right, I'm wrong under $80. So you're risking that. You're targeting, if we could just get another extension of leg up here, huge risk reward. And yeah, the space stuff I'm really excited for. It looks like it's perking up. So this is UFO, and it's just an ETF that holds all of the different space. So it's a good way to kind of look to see what the sentiment is on space. And that one looks like it could be breaking to or challenging new highs here. But yeah, if you look at all of them, they look great. Like ASTS is an amazing looking chart where it's got a solid floor at $20. Every time it hits $20, there's a huge buyer there. And now it's breaking this kind of downtrend line. So this one looks great. Rocket Lab, that looks great as well. Up near challenged highs of $30, pulled back a little bit. Now it looks like it might be breaking and trying to get back to that $30. Through that $30, it's all-time highs. So anyone who's short is having a really bad time. There was a couple. LPL was another one. Planet Labs, that had a massive breakout and a move yesterday. So the whole kind of space industry is interesting to me and perking up here. And what people are trying to do is they're trying to bet, okay, if the SpaceX contracts are canceled, who are they going to go with? So they're picking up all these different little guys that they could go with. But for me, it just doesn't really matter. I just want to grab some of these. Plus, I know a lot of these are really heavily shorted. I can get you some numbers, but I know Rocket Lab and all of these people have been betting these things kind of revert back after going from $2 to $40. There's probably a lot of people who've been shorting on the way up, hoping that it reverts some of that. And those people very quickly could get blown out. And that would just make for an amazing trade for everything else. So.
Yeah, 100%. Just looking at Palantir too, that was another name we had pretty far down yesterday, like closed down 7.7% or something like that. Looking a little rough kind of with Tesla. Do you have any thoughts on what Palantir is looking like? Are we finally getting that dip where everybody's bag holding and we actually get some downside now, maybe under $100?
I don't know. It's still holding roughly the breakout of the all-time highs. So I think, yeah, you've got this kind of 118 low where we've now bounced twice. If we lose that, yeah, I think you're probably right. All bets are off. Probably time to push it lower. If we can hold that, then this just ends up being a really big bull flag after this almost double off of its lows. And yeah, ASTS, I was just looking at that. There's 27% short float on that, which is huge. And then Rocket Lab, I think, is pretty big as well. So yeah, so 16, 17%. So a lot of these that have large short floats in them, I'm super interested in, because if they move higher, a little bit on Palantir, not too much. A lot of people, I think, piled in yesterday to the short side of things. And this is one of those, just looking at the market, I love these kind of candles where you have an pretty ugly red candle yesterday, and then it looks like you're gapping up over that candle today. So everyone who sold yesterday is underwater. Everyone who shorted yesterday is underwater. And you reverse that so quickly that these to me are pretty interesting igniting candles, right? Like look at right here is another good example of where you had a really ugly down candle, and then it gapped up the next day, pretty close to the high of that candle, and then ran. Not a huge, doji, dragonfly, whatever candlestick kind of guy, but when you see the pure emotion here of, the shorts are getting completely run over the next day, that to me is quite a chance that we're going to push higher here.
Yeah. Let's see what other top stories we got from the StockTwits news deck. We got trade deficit narrowed 55% in April as tariffs slashed imports. Howard Lutnick urges tougher China export restrictions. Fed Gov Kugler sees risk of inflation from tariffs, favors no rate move yet. Uber Eats and Five Below new retail delivery partnership. I did not know that. That could be interesting. GameStop, they popped after first Bitcoin purchase, but valuation flagged by analysts. We got Boeing settled 737 MAX case for $1.1 billion with the DOJ. Brown-Forman plunged 16% on 2026 warning tariffs plus soft demand.
Brown-Forman's booze, right?
Upgrade.
Is it?
What's that?
Oof. Brown-Forman's booze, isn't it? I think.
I think you might be right. I'm not 100% sure.
Geez, wow, that's bad.
Yum Brands upgraded to buy at Goldman. Five Below raised full year forecast on strong Q1. So looking good there. Oh, the IPO of Circle. Did you see that?
Yeah, crazy. These IPOs have been going nuts.
I wanted to ask your thoughts on this because I'm like, are we getting some nice IPO shorts setting up here in the next few weeks, or
what? Well, I think so. We'll look at what was it, Newsmax, right? That did the insanity.
Yeah.
Right. Went from $12 to 260 in 2 days, and now it's right back to 12. And then Bull, right? Webull did the same thing from $10 to 80, and now it's back below its IPO price. Again, the reminder that I try to give everybody all the time is it's 77. I think it's around 80% of all IPOs undercut their IPO price in the first 6 months to a year of trading. So I am interested in maybe shorting it, but the problem is this is a crypto thing, right? It's going to move with crypto. So, I've got kind of two hats on. The reversal that we're getting in Bitcoin is interesting to me to buy. This seems like it's a bit too crazy and potentially will come down. They're very hard trades to pull off, because if you're not really accurate on your entry, you can just get hosed, as people on Newsmax saw, where it went just crazy. Right? This company will never see that price ever again. But although you could have said at 150 it was overdone, and at 200 it was overdone, and then it just kept going. So yeah, I think it's going to be a wicked short at some point. The question is when.
Yeah. I'm with you.
They're hard.
Yeah, they were up 168.5% yesterday after launching. Yeah. They opened at $69, closed at 83. Looks like. So they issues USD coin, second largest stablecoin. IPO raised $1 billion. Joins red hot crypto IPO wave. Follows strong debuts from eToro and Hinge Health. The WSJ 2025 IPOs are trading plus 15% from list prices. So yeah, interesting stuff. I'm with you though.
I'm looking at the chat here, right? And someone's mentioning CoreWeave, CRWV. But see, that one did a more of like, you could say this is craziness, but A, it's not happened over 2 days. It's been slower. And B, it undercut its IPO first. So it did this initial IPO where it went from 30 to 60, which is crazy. But then it did what those kind of 80% of IPOs do, and undercut that IPO price and then rallied. So this seems less insane to me, which is like, right, if we're doing a tier list of insanity, this is like C tier insanity. Newsmax is S tier insanity. And I think CoreWeave is probably somewhere, or Circle is probably somewhere in the middle. It's like what they do. So they do USDC, I guess you were saying. That's their thing. How much money can you actually, like a lot of money, but it's not, it'd be consistent money. So in theory, with consistent money, it should be then easy to price the security, right? You're making X amount per transaction. This is how many transactions you have. And then here's the difference behind it. So yeah, this is a weird one. And then another guy was mentioning, right, no one watches the bond market. I watch the bond market. And yeah, this 84 area right here on the TLT or on TNX, which is the yields, if we get over kind of this 460 area, this is where Trump always flinches, right? It's where he flinched on that tariff day where he backed off on all the tariffs. Okay, we're getting a deal done with China. That seems this zone is where somebody has told him that it's really, really bad for the economy, which it is. So yes, definitely keep an eye on the bond market with all this kind of stuff. So if we continue to kind of grind lower here, then that's going to be obviously beneficial for the market. But as long as rates are stable and they're not moving too fast either way, that's the only thing I think the stock market cares about. It doesn't need to be, it doesn't need to go down. I don't think they really care if it goes up, just not too fast, so that people can kind of adapt and adjust. Same with when you're talking with the dollar. I don't think the level of the dollar matters that much. People just don't like when the dollar does this and just falls like 10% in a little bit. It's very hard as a business with foreign interests to kind of plan those interests when the dollar is just kind of completely falling apart. So
yeah, agreed. Let's dive into some charts, Michael Nauss.
Cool. Let's take, I haven't taken a look at our pre-market heat map yet today. Just, well, I guess not really much to glean from that. Everything's a bit green across the board. Again, just that jobs number is just ripping us. Taking a look here at the SPY, right? Again, I talked about it a little bit before. I love this candle. So if we close green today, if we stick the landing, I think that actually gets us out of this base that I've drawn that we've been in for weeks. And then from there, we're only like 2% to all-time highs. And then that's where everybody, remember the euphoria we had after the election, which happened right here in November. We had that crazy euphoria. We're going to be above that soon if we break new highs. And then we find out how much people are actually short, because if the market starts ripping to new highs, that's when brokers start calling them and saying, you've got to, you got to get out of this position. So we saw a lot of like speculative movement yesterday. That was interesting. Like the psychedelic sector was up 5%.
Doing good lately. Wow.
Yeah, a lot of these, right? Again, so full disclosure, I own a irresponsible amount of this MindMed. From 6, it's up to like 8. I'll always tell you when I'm in something. I love this just long-term chart, right? So I'm in this one. I got in from log chart, always a log chart. In this one from 5, basically when we broke this high right here. Every time it's been getting back to 5, I've been buying some. Anytime it pushes off 5, I've been selling some. I've just been trading around this position for like a year now, and it's been great. I don't know what the news was, but yes, it's a great sector right now anyway. So right, CYBN is one, and that's off its lows pretty well. CMPS is another one. ATAI, there was some news on. That's another one. So all these psychedelic ones are looking pretty good. And we talked about UFO already, but that had a great move yesterday. So again, this is the basket of those kind of space names. So we did see some more speculative action happening here, and then the whole world, other than the U.S., is still ripping. So, right, it's a new all-time high for Earth here. ACWX. So ACWX is one of my favorite ETFs to keep an eye on, which is the entire world with the US pulled out. So you can kind of see how is everyone else doing when the US is, moving higher, but not yet at all-time highs. Broke all-time highs on this kind of rest of the world index a while ago. So in the beginning of May, and it's just been grinding higher ever since. So one of those times that if you are someone who is kind of investing internationally, either in stocks that do well internationally or just in general, you're doing great here, right? So here is Singapore and Italy, Hong Kong, Australia. You can just go through the whole list. Spain, shout out if anyone's from any of these places watching, but you can see all of these other areas are doing great, right? So the only thing that's kind of really helping these charts is the bit of a dip in the US and USD, but yeah, the rest of the world making new all-time highs. Shout out, we'll give a little shout out Canada here, right? TSX, new all-time highs. Nice breakout here on the Toronto Stock Exchange. This is a lot gold, right? We have, it's like we do gold and oil and lumber up here, and that's like 90% of what we do. But yeah, so it's market's been great, just depending on where you are. Crypto, I hope that we're not getting this kind of head and shoulders look that's happening here. Really looked like it was collapsing yesterday, but reclaimed that level. It got I think it dipped under 100,000 or very close to 100,000. Yeah, $100,500 before ripping here. So this one's interesting to me. Yesterday, the only coin that was actually up yesterday was green, was Fartcoin, which hilarious.
Of course.
But if you look right here is my kind of crypto watch list, and everything is green right now. So yeah, getting a little bit more risk on action. Even the Ethereum Bitcoin ratio is green. And this is one that I've been watching a lot as a good risk on, risk off indicator. Because if this is moving higher, it just means Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin. And to me, that's a little bit more risky. You could do the same thing with like Solana Bitcoin. Right, that's been underperforming for a long time, but it's starting to perk up here. So the Solana Bitcoin ratio is a good one for if you're a meme stock guy. If you start to see this move higher, then generally you can get a bit of breath into a lot of these meme stocks. And if this continues to grind lower, then that's not generally good news for meme stocks. So 2 minutes left to go. Just taking a look at what's happening here. We are very, very close to this yesterday's high. And that is like the sole area I'm watching on, for any of my intraday trading. If we get above this high right here, which is basically 599, then that's amazing. If we can hold 599 today, I am super bulled up. If we lose 599, then whatever. I wonder how much people are going to have appetite to hold into the close today with a whole weekend of boyfriend drama. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's more of a risk-off situation into the end of the week, to be honest. So I don't know. We saw a lot of movement yesterday, which I wouldn't have expected the day before NFP. Do we kind of keep it chill on NFP day now after getting some movement this morning? I don't know. It kind of seems like it might, but we'll see. I'm just going to kind of play it by ear.
It's so weird that I feel like I have to follow Elon now and keep an eye on his tweets.
I know.
I have to follow Trump, even though I obviously, as a Canadian, definitely don't want to. Now I got to follow the both of them. That's just that's just a nightmare.
It's a little too much now.
Because he went. I don't know if you went on. I went on. First thing I did when I woke up, and I said, "Okay, let's first check the futures."
Did you see everything this morning, or did you see it last night?
I saw most of it last night, and then I went this morning, and he's just spent the whole night, I guess, retweeting things that were favorable to what he was saying. So I'm just waiting for the next bombshell, because anyone who was looking for any kind of reconciliation between them, I think the whole Epstein drop, that that should get rid of that for you. That's the end of. You can't become friends when he's like publicly like, yeah, you're on the Epstein list. That's a bit of it. But we're
really
opening
rough
here. Yeah, we're open here. So I think we just kind of watch right off the open.
Yeah, we'll see what we get here.
Well, he is here in a fog.
Hi, friends. Oh my
Good
God,
morning.
what's going on?
Is it fog?
Was great. Okay,
foggy where you are?
No. 1 second, it will be fine.
Like wipe the camera lens, or oh yeah.
No. 1 second. Give me a couple minutes. I'll be back. Sorry.
No worries.
No problem. Let's keep.
Hey, what about Hood, Michael Nauss? That's been a banger lately, huh? Robin Hood.
Jeez, yeah, we'll sell this morning, but yeah, this is. I love this chart. Right, this is you talk about your cup and handle, your William O'Neill, all those guys that we know and love, like Nick Drendel and those guys, the Trader Lion dudes. This is their bread and butter. This kind of thing, a company that's increasing earnings, increasing revenue over time, and puts in this big cup and handle look. This is one of my favorite charts on the street, but it's going to have a lot to do with what happens in crypto, right? They're tied to whether they want to or not. They're tied to crypto here.
Yeah, definitely. I know we got that all-time high of $85 that people are looking for. It's getting close. Reminder too, guys, there is the 2x leveraged Robinhood. If you go to TradingView, type in ROBN, Robin. It's a great name.
There you go.
Yeah, it's perfect. But that is a solid one if you're trying to get some leverage on that as well. What's up, Leah?
You're back, and you're not in a cloud anymore.
Not in a cloud.
I know. I had to switch the camera, and it wanted me to disconnect it. Anyways, hi guys. How are you?
Doing good.
Is crazy stuff.
Wild week, huh?
I'm watching everything from Europe, so I'm like, okay, at least I'm here. I can have my popcorn.
Yes, stay there. Stay there for a while.
Like running out of popcorn strategic reserve at this point.
Yeah, I'm not far enough away in Canada that they can get up here too easily.
Oh my, yeah, I had an interesting week. Did you guys get the ONDS trade? Did you trade it?
I didn't, but I heard a lot about it this week. I've really just been on the future side of things, but I've definitely heard a lot about it. Did you catch some trades on there?
We were in this one for a couple, I think, since 29th of May, and I hopped on the ride a little bit later and got out yesterday. It was really like the fastest 30% I ever made, I think, on equity.
I love that. I love when price is efficient and you just you get your entry and it just goes to target extremely fast. That is the best.
Yeah, this one. But otherwise, I'm looking at small caps right now. I'm not sure if you guys discussed that.
A little bit. They've definitely been doing better. That's for sure.
Yeah, I have the 212 supply zone, so that could cause a little bit of annoyance there. But once we get above, I think we can head towards the 200. So I have that on my close watch list. MA, I was looking at this one. Yeah, I'm actually liking the 588 breakout on MasterCard. A little bit. This week, we have also the 7 space, because I was observing the volume and I was wake up with low volume and then they look at that.
Oh yeah, sometimes they just come in. Yeah, sometimes they just come and flood the volume in when you're least expecting it.
I had the worst FOMO. Like I could have jumped exactly at this level here, the breakout of the previous day, but I was just too slow. Maybe not paying attention. So I spaced out on that one. What else do we have? ANET. I actually read that Citadel and some other huge funds bought this stock and sold made a lot of their NVIDIA holding. I don't like it's like a little bit slow around the 200, but I have this on my watch list as well. Arista Networks. If you guys know this, I used to trade it a lot last year. It had a crazy, beautiful trend and run.
Yeah.
And now it looks like pretty much a lot of the tech stocks, like double invest head and shoulder, and trying to get back to life. So that one I have on my list. And Datadog. We had Datadog also.
Datadog's been
So
another one that's been getting a lot of
yeah, and you
attention.
see all the volumes today just like, I think maybe the summer will be like that. Like a
Yeah.
slow grind, choppy, grind higher, and yeah, maybe just. I think like my plan for the summer ideally would be get some stocks that I really like, and I think they have great setups, and just let them work for me. Not to overtrade, because with this chop, it's just such a situation, right?
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
Datadog's a fun one though. I imagine you've been selling a lot of spreads and options this week.
I
Maybe
wasn't at
no.
all. I haven't sold one because I'm with my family, so I have a hard time to
Gotcha.
focus. But normally, yeah,
Mhm.
Tesla. I actually did some research on Tesla, and if you guys want, I can read you what I found out from our data. So, like Tesla, definitely was overreaction, and when you look at the option flow, it was mostly caused by zero DT day trading activity. And what we think that with this overreaction, that the Tesla put skew at the money versus 25 delta put and IV percentile are extremely elevated, right? So which means if Elon and Trump will get to some sort of reconciliation, the IV will drop. So it kind of makes sense to maybe look into some spreads for long for Tesla. I'm looking at that now too. I wish I would sell some puts yesterday, but I was just honestly, I was completely shocked.
Right. I think we all
Yeah.
were. We're all
I knew this will happen. Like literally, I'm a psychologist. I was like having this on my list of popcorn watching, but I did not expect it now and so fast. I was thinking maybe at some point in the middle of the presidency they will just, do this. But yesterday
agreed.
I
I
was
expected it. I did not think it was coming this early though. Yeah.
Yeah,
Ooh.
when it was closer to the end, and it's you can't. Uh, he's kind of outlived his usefulness, right? It's like there's going to be a new guy coming in. Let me discard this guy and go to the new one. But yeah, really quick. This circle gapped up to 20% today.
Which
Oh my
one?
gosh.
The new IPO yesterday, CRCL. Here, I'll bring it up here.
CRC
Screen.
circle.
Yeah, these are the guys that do USDC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they IPO'd yesterday.
From Coinbase.
Yeah, it is
here.
brand new.
Yeah.
Let it
And
run a
just-
little bit. I'm watching. I want to watch the short play out though, Michael. I know.
Yes.
I know we've had a lot of thoughts on some IPO tickers. I want to watch that play out. We'll see.
But it's like, right, you shorted here what your stop's over 105.
Yeah.
So you're risking
$10.
$10. That's a lot.
Okay. Crypto. Sure. I'm sorry, friends. I'll be back in the US in 2 weeks, so then I have my setup.
No worries.
No worries. I don't know if I would come back that quick. Let's let the
No, I should. I mean, trust me. If I could, I would stay in Europe the whole summer. It's so nice.
Agreed.
let the boys fight a little bit longer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, one more stock I want to point out for you, which I hopped on.
Here, I'll stop here.
Investment that you might be interested. I always come up with the stocks, but I'm very happy with this one actually. Let me show you. It's pretty undervalued right now. Woohoo! UFPT.
UFPT.
So this
Ooh,
one
that's
was-
looking good.
Mm-hmm.
It's got some potential over that 200.
240, yeah, and my target is 268.
Sorry, what do they do?
I don't even ask me. I have no idea.
You guys are the same.
Yeah, spoken like a pure trader.
That's awesome.
Longer swing. I think like this is like a nice inverse head and shoulders. It's heading for the 200 moving average. Yeah, and longer swing for me. UFPT. Yeah, I don't really. I mean, sure, if I want to own Microsoft, Nvidia for decades, I really kind of need to know what they do. But when it comes to swing trades, trades. I don't really care about the macro. I like the charts and
Facts.
momentum.
Packaging foam. You one of the most boring
Boring businesses
engage
are
it.
the best.
Yes, boring. That's a truer words have never been spoken, right? Those are the ones that have predictable revenues and but yeah, they do packing for medical devices, so cool.
Yeah,
But yeah, great looking
boring
chart.
stuff. I honestly need some of this on my portfolio because, quite frankly, yesterday the Tesla. Oh,
Yeah, you
I
need
thought
to
I was
have
gonna
some
lose.
boring stuff in the portfolio when shit like that happens from
Yeah.
yesterday.
Honestly,
Yeah.
it was like I felt like I'm on a roller coaster, and I was sitting there, and I have pretty big amount of Tesla, including leaps and options, and like.
Oh, I have enough to where I felt that for
Yeah.
sure. I didn't really look at the long term. I was
Oh.
just, we're well above my average still, so good there, but I was
Cool.
obviously not happy to see that in the long term, but we play the long term game and kind of don't think about it too much.
Yeah, of course. It's just at this point I'm just like, dude, seriously, how long am I gonna do this?
I
It's
know.
like having like an abusive relationship. Like you have like really good chemistry, but
You just can't leave. You just can't
so
leave.
freaking annoying. I was like, ooh, how long am I gonna do this with this
I
stuff?
know. It's tough. Obviously I'm a long-term investor. I have that long-term outlook and I'm just going through the swings of everything like we've seen before. It's nothing new, right? We've seen these big swings with news before, but it doesn't make it necessarily any easier to really sit through when it's happening in real time. I think that's why it's
But
so
just think
helpful
about
to
it,
keep
like
things separate.
this is a situation I don't think Tesla been in before because Elon is
Yeah,
just
not
like
necessarily this exact
yeah,
situation we've
this
not seen.
magnitude.
Yeah.
You know, it's like he's alienating everyone around at this point, and I'm just like, how is this gonna go?
Yeah.
But again,
Just,
Tesla
yeah.
has all these robots, and he's like all of the other companies that are amazing, and yeah.
Did you see yesterday? It's not going to be until I think 5 years or so until we actually have driverless cars. Apparently.
From Tesla?
Yeah.
How is it possible? What are they doing? Look at Waymo.
He's been
They
promising us
said-
driverless cars for like 10 years now.
Yeah, he said something about how we'll like I don't know in the next year or so it'll be a robot behind it, but it won't be until like 5 years until we see like actual driverless cars. So that got pushed back heavily. That just adds
But
to
I don't
the.
understand it. What is the problem, really? Like Waymo is.
I don't know. I got a deep dive into that. I'm not sure yet, but
Spy is ripping out of this base.
yeah, we're cooking. We're cooking so far.
Well, well over yesterday's high.
This market's relentless. We'll see how the day goes. I got some data. If this first 30-minute candle closes green, there's an extremely high % chance that we end green, and same thing for if it closes red. Just some data from Edgeful that I use. Let's see. I want to get the exact percentage for you real quick. Let's see. Opening candle continuation. Yeah, if we get that first opening candle green, it'll be a 74% chance green day, and then if it's red, 70% chance red day. So we'll see how that 30-minute candle closes here.
Mike, are you still in Lily?
I am. Don't jinx it on me.
Yay.
But yeah.
Go, Lily.
Yeah, it's holding that 750 just so well, and it's rare support works that good. But yeah, I was risking like $25, I think, on this, and if we did something crazy like went back to highs, that's like a 10R trade or 10 times my risk. That'd be amazing.
Where was your entry?
Pretty much around like seven I think 30, and then I was just risking down to like 700. So just on that last little zone there.
Here's 710. I had my alert that never went, and I like
that's
the bottom of the channel.
Better off than mine. Yeah, I think I need to look. I think I'm like 725, 730, somewhere around there. Yeah, I was going to mention UNH. You definitely, because I'm in it. I'm up on it, but it hasn't done anything in like 2 weeks. So you definitely nailed that one right by selling puts, because at least you're getting paid for it doing nothing.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm just
remember I had to trade 251 entry to 308. My exit was the gap, and here. Which one was that? 308. I remember that I sold it in the morning, but I did not. I left like a little bit of the shares that I think I'm gonna dump them, and then I have the puts too. It's I always say it's like if I would have unlimited capital, okay, I can sit here, but this can go for months and who knows how long, right? Because like
Yes. Yeah.
it's really annoying. It's doing nothing. So I even advised my friends in Discord. Look, it's all up to you. If you have a lot of money, you don't know what to do with them, and you kind of want to hold this, sure. But again, like then better sell the puts or invest the money elsewhere because a lot of stocks are moving really nicely. This is another one, Protagonist Therapeutics, PTGX. Also, I hopped on this one at 50, which is I'm aiming for the high at 60. A lot of
God,
nice,
all these
stocks.
interesting names you always bring us, a therapeutic name or
just the
something. They're always
weirdest
doing
stuff,
well
yeah.
too. I love it. No, I love it though, because
Yeah.
it can be tough to find those consistently. You know what I mean? And you are
Yeah.
consistently bringing to the table, some
I
good
lost on
stocks. So.
SMCI. I really hoped it's gonna do something, especially with small caps, because it's I think third or second largest holding.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we talked about last time, Michael. You said you traded also this strategy back then, that you looked at ETFs that are about to run and you picked a bigger holdings there. And yeah,
Yeah.
I was thinking about you the whole week. I'm like, oh, it's probably not going to work out. So I got stuck out of this one this week. I don't like it. And I had a good trade on Exxon, but it just popped a little bit and now it's doing nothing again. So I have to
Energy in general has been hard. Right, it's if you just look at oil or even nat gas, it's been like nuclear or nothing. The rest of them are just range bound, and I hate trading range bound stuff because you're not wrong right away, you're not right away. It just ties up capital, and that to me is even worse than losing money.
Yeah. Especially wasting that mental capital on days where you should have just kick back and chill. It's a tough thing, and you can never really get that mental capital back.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for breakouts with volume, but as I said this week, I just didn't see many. Like there were breakouts like Netflix or Spotify, but when the breakouts were happening, volume was kind of weak. But yeah, so far the stocks are holding higher above the breakouts. Like this one, as I said, was 672. Spotify is still holding pretty well. Netflix, we had a breakout right here, 1220. So I don't know. I'm looking at this ANET. I really want to trade this one for longer term swing, but again, it's just like trying. It's trying.
She
I
is
would
trying.
want momentum there, and I don't see it. But as I said,
Well,
perhaps the summer will be like that. Who knows?
yeah, and I think it's going to be one of those things where, with a lot of these catch-up trades, they kind of have to. We know that the large institutions are generally still short. They have to catch up. They have until the end of June, where generally quarterly reporting comes out. So names like this I really like because quite often you get these catch-up trades where you can't buy the high flyer that's like the AVGO that's already ripping, right? You've got to start looking for Datadog looks great. Was it MongoDB, MDB? That broke out.
Yeah, these guys are.
Oh yeah, they had earnings. They did all right. Nice.
All right. Yeah, I love this stock. I haven't owned this in a while, but I owned it in 21, and that was absolutely amazing. Maybe it's time to repeat, but I would like it about the 200 personally. Yeah, MDB is nice. Yeah, you're right. I mean, you're not gonna buy Netflix now. I mean,
No.
I had the chance to get Netflix so early, and I never pulled the trigger. Oh.
Well, imagine you're a big institution and you're underperforming the market, and you tell your clients, "I just bought Netflix. Or I just bought Netflix today," and it's like,
I'm firing my financial advisor if that's the case.
Yeah, like get the hell out, man. Get out of here.
You're fired.
What else can they buy? I don't know. Like I get these questions every day from my members and from people all over the place. Like, what can I buy? Everything seems so expensive. Yeah.
I think the secret answer is stat cash until it's cheap again.
Yeah, I just
You
saw it
know.
on crypto because.
Or yeah.
It's not a financial advice, but I buy Bitcoin all the time. I'm a crazy person. I
Me
think.
too. I'm buying Bitcoin every day.
Yeah, and I have some FAS, as you were talking about the Euro stocks. I have,
Yeah, international is doing amazing. I don't know for how long. It generally doesn't outperform this well, but international has been doing just fantastic. So
Yeah.
that's been a place I've been putting a bunch of money into.
What's your favorite?
I like the all country world ACWX, right? It's kind of
ACXX.
ACWX.
Oh,
So it's
I see it.
basically the whole world X US. This is kind of, for me, the easiest way to do it. But there's another one that I really like the concept of that I've got some money in. That is FRDM. And I forget the woman's name who's done this, but I think it's
FRDM.
FRDM for freedom. She sorry, I'm really bad. FRDM. There you go.
It's just the sound FRDM.
And what she does here is she takes every country in the world and has built like a freedom index. And the more free your country, the heavier weighting she gives you in this particular index. So it's a whole world index. But the concept is by investing in the freest countries for when it comes to personal freedoms and then also capitalistic freedoms, she thinks that over time, and especially the long time, that's a good place to invest in markets. So I own some of this as well for international exposure, and I think it's a really cool.
Only women can come up with idea like that.
It's I think I heard her on. I think I heard her on the Compound or something. I think they brought her on. I was just super impressed. So yeah, this is a percentage of my net worth is now just in this guy forever.
Yeah, because I have that too. I have 40% of my taxable retirement account, and non-taxable I have in crypto. But I have also 40% in all sorts of emerging markets and international markets.
Yeah.
So the same thing. I do believe that the world, and when you're free, you can create and innovate. And then I do believe that it's a huge part of success. It's hard to create and innovate if you're repressed. You know what I mean? So that makes total psychological sense there.
Yeah, and it makes psychological sense. It also just like from a purely capitalistic standpoint, right? If you have a country that was, like a heavy socialism or something and is now becoming more capitalistic, then idea is every 3 months when she reallocates this index, that will start to rise the list. So as they become more and more productive, and it's really cool to see that it's just it's been great this year. Like it's been one of those more safe haven kind of assets, outperforming the U.S. With its international exposure.
Nice, wonderful. That's nice. I like to learn something new. CrowdStrike.
Yeah, any big thoughts on CrowdStrike?
I mean, it's great. Guys working. I did. Too bad. Yeah, this one has volume, but a lot of the other ones are just really grinding slowly. And Amazon, I don't know what to do with this one.
It does feel like everything's kind of in that slow melt up. Yeah, Amazon too. Look at that. Oh,
I don't even own it actually. I think I dumped it. I'm just like, this thing is so boring.
Yeah, slow.
It's terrible.
At least lately.
And they don't pay, do they? They don't pay a dividend either.
I don't believe so, no.
Probably start at some point.
If they did, I never noticed it when I did own it.
So it's not big enough to matter.
Or my allocation wasn't big enough. One of the two.
I don't want to own Amazon. I have Nvidia, I have Tesla, I have Microsoft and Google. That's it from the megas. I don't have Apple. I don't have Amazon.
I just don't know. It's one of those. Amazon to me seems more like they've hit their limits than a lot of these other guys. Like, what else? You deliver everything to everyone. What else are you going to do? Right? You're gonna have robots do it. That will cut costs slightly, but that's not like super exciting the way a lot of these other companies look, right? Like Apple's got a big event, I guess, coming up in a couple weeks for new software and new AR stuff. And yeah, so I don't own much. The chart looked amazing when you had it up there on Amazon, but I just don't really, it's not exciting to me, right? Like I'm really liking some of these space names. Yeah. It's a nice looking chart, but there's just nothing. I just don't know what news catalyst is really gonna rocket the thing enough that'd be worth allocating a bunch of capital to.
I don't even know if it even goes to all-time high. That's only 12%. Yeah, there are nicer charts out there, to be honest with you. I don't want to own Amazon. I get so bored of it.
It does get boring.
Completely bored. 600, yay, looks nice. Yeah, we're gonna probably just grind higher, and who knows what happens towards the end of the summer, as always. In August, end of August, September, probably another dump and buying opportunity towards the end of the year. Wouldn't be surprised, but again, we'll take it as we go. And ASTS, I'm a very happy owner. Do you guys have this one that flew crazy yesterday because of the Elon drama with Trump? So it's kind of like a competition to Elon's cars and all that stuff. ASTS, do you know it?
Oh, yeah, I've been watching ASTS. We have a lot of people in the spaces always trading it as well. So
yeah, I'm watching this over yesterday's high. If it can get going, I'm gonna buy just a simple downtrend line kind of break from that initial pop. It just looks like a good risk reward play, and it could be, talked about this a bit when we were going over the news, right? Could be a little bit of an advantage of the man breakup happening right now, right? If they need someone else to launch their satellites and everything.
Yeah. Sorry guys, I just do update. Fun times, but
interesting
I can't wait
open
for the weekend. This was an intense week.
Yeah, I'll be ready for the weekend as well. I'll get some time off from the charts. It'll be nice.
Yeah.
Away from the craziness. NQ's just kind of dancing around this morning. Got to pop up, and we're coming right back in, just hanging out. So we'll see what NFP day has for us. But we've gotten some big moves this week. Just kind of, I mean, it's been more in the range back and forth, but yesterday was an amazing trading day. The day before was really choppy, really spready for the most part. But I feel like we've gotten some decent movement for the day traders, at least throughout the week. So seems like we're kind of trying to stay in this more rangy price action on the higher time frame, not really being able to get out of anywhere. But maybe NFP day really gets crazy. I don't know. We'll see.
It's holding its gains. That's all we need, right? If we hold yesterday's high, if we were to close right here, I think it's a super bullish candle, because we've held the breakout of that range. We've held yesterday's high where sellers came in. It showed that all those sellers are wrong. Yeah, so if we just fast forward to the end of the day and we're sitting right at this $600 mark on the SPY, I'm going to put that from a technical standpoint as kind of mission accomplished, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah,
it looks nice. Yeah. Slowly.
The kicker pattern, I think, is the technical term for those who want to look it up on
the kicker ramp.
Kicker pattern. I never hear that actually.
Oh, for the CMT, we had to study all these crazy,
all the terms,
crazy patterns. But just red candle down, and then you gap like at the high or above the high, and then you put in a green candle. And again, a lot of these you want to boil them down to the psychology behind them. Just means that everyone that sold yesterday is either going to get a bunch of FOMO, or if you shorted yesterday, you quickly got kind of blown out of that short, right? So that's the way I kind of look at these is. Same as like a big hammer candle or something like that, right? People are very quickly wrong, and when they're very quickly wrong, sometimes they have to cover their position pretty quick.
Yeah, I love the psychology of candles. It makes more sense when you understand what's actually happening there and how people are getting trapped. And yeah,
well, and I love. Yeah. Have you ever read the history of candlesticks? Like way
from Japan,
like 200.
Rice?
Yeah. Just one dude just sitting watching rice trading and just said, "Oh, I think I can boil all this down to." He became someone inflation adjusted his net worth when he died, so they made him a samurai, which I guess is basically the equivalent of being like knighted. And his net worth now would be like $10 billion. If you inflated how much he would have made from just, he went home every day and he charted out the candlestick of rice, and then he would come in and make a trade off the close, hold it for, he was like one of the first swing traders out there. He would buy a bunch of rice and put it in his home when he thought the price of rice would go up, and then go back to market and sell it back out later. And yeah, became a billionaire just from candlestick analysis. Really cool story.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, I read the whole first book of CMT. It was really nice. 750 pages. Read
Wow.
it a couple of times. Yeah, and there are 3 of them, right? So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It was worth it, but yeah, it's a lot for sure.
Nice.
Well, good stuff, crew.
Awesome.
It's been a fun hour. I appreciate you guys hopping on and talking with you. It's always a pleasure. Let's see how this day goes. We'll see if we close it up strong on a green day or keep it red like yesterday. I'm not sure, but
fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I guess we'll see. But everybody in the audience, enjoy the last day of the week. Trade safe. Don't blow it all on a weekend. It's not worth it to go into the weekend and have poor trades under your belt. So if you did well this week, I recommend, especially with all the movement we had, it's a great day to sleep in and go enjoy the rest of your day and the weekend. So we'll see everybody next week. Again, appreciate you guys hopping on as always. And if you're in the audience, make sure you're liking and subscribing on the Stock Twits channel. And we'll see you guys next Friday.